The More Movement Crew.
Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I'm your host, Kenina Porter, and this is episode 14. So thank you for checking us out. I'm so excited that we're here today, and we have another dope episode for you today. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We want to get more subscribers. We want to know that you're listening. So check us out. And don't forget to subscribe. It's that little red button that's like right under this video. click it, and then you can subscribe. And then you get notifications about all the stuff that we're doing every week. So make sure you do that. And then catch up on the episodes. Like this is 14th episode. Like you got a lot of catching up to do if you are just now checking us out. So make sure that you do that because there's a lot of cool things we got going on. But today, I'm so excited to have our special guest with us today. And before we get into like the official introduction, I always play a game called 5 Questions. So,
okay,
are you ready for this game, 5 Questions? All right,
okay.
Cool. Okay, so the first question is, what is the most interesting place that you have traveled to and why?
Gotta be New York, Brooklyn, New York. I was there for a poetry competition.
Okay.
It's such a fast pace, the complete opposite of Louisville.
Yeah.
And
it's a whole vibe.
It's the whole world in one spot.
It is.
But yeah, that had to be probably the most interesting place I've been.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is a dope place though. I've only been once, but New York has an energy that's like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like you feel like you can do anything.
You really do. Like, yeah, it's powerful. Like I just love that. I mean, I see myself as like a East Coast person anyway. So I never really I always felt East Coast. So when I get like to places like New York and DC, I'm just like,
Yes.
I like this vibe.
DC feels that way too.
Yeah.
Definitely DC.
And New Yorkers have like this. They just have like a grit. I don't want to, like it's like a grittiness.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you mean.
It's just like a whole vibe. So yeah, so it's definitely a great place. Dope. All right, New York. So the second question is, what gets you out of bed every day?
I would have to say my daughter. Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. And I'm brand new to this mom thing. So, interacting with her, that makes me get up and get my day started. And after that, I would have to say like pursuing my career and my goals, that really pushes me to get up out of the bed every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's beautiful too. She has so much energy.
Definitely ain't my job.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like that's one of the things, definitely. All right, so next question is, what color represents you?
Black.
Look, you said that quick.
Black.
Why black?
Yeah, black is because black has such a strong presence. Like you can't go wrong with black, man.
Yeah.
Whether it be with my clothes, anybody who I'm around for the most part, they know black.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all I wear. And it used to be like, well, big girls wear black to make look. No, if I was
my color
black,
anyway.
It's just black. I love black.
Yeah. Black is a great color though. It does. It has a presence. Like, yeah, it's a good color. All right. So next one is name 3 songs or artists. You can do artists because I know that might be hard. That are in your playlist right now. So like, what are you playing
Rhapsody.
Right now? Rhapsody. Oh my goodness.
Every day.
That album's amazing.
Rhapsody. Ari Lennox. I'm really getting into her, listening to her a little bit.
Yeah.
And that sound cliche. With Beyonce.
Really?
It's Beyonce.
Yeah. I was just listening to Brown Skin Girl before you got here. So yeah.
Yeah. But more so, definitely Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And then she's coming here tomorrow. I'm still debating if I should. Yes, her, Big Crit.
I know Big Crit was coming, but I didn't know Rhapsody was gonna be here. Shut up. How much are tickets?
$25.
You lying.
$25, and they still have plenty of them. I'm still debating.
We need to be in the building. We need to be in the building.
Because I want to meet her so bad.
She is dope. Like I listen to, like that's the thing about Rhapsody when you listen to her music. Like I find myself like listening to a song and then I gotta like rewind it and replay it because you gotta catch everything that she's saying.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, like so. I just it's just so like lyrically. You know, she's like a beast, and how each song has a different name, named after like a strong Black woman.
Like that whole album, that album alone, like she has plenty of dope content, but that album, it made me rethink my purpose as a Black woman. Like I love her. That's
amazing. I feel like it was a perfect time, I think, for her to come out with that. I really do. I feel like it was just a really good, it was a good project. It was a good time. I mean, her work is incredible anyway. I really hadn't really paid attention to Rhapsody for real. I think I watched the special on Netflix. It was like a documentary on Netflix, and she was one of the people that was featured, and I was like, wow, like so I just like dived into like this whole world and tried to figure out like who she is and stuff. So yeah, once I did that, I was like, wow.
Yeah, wow. I first heard her on Kendrick's album, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, who is this? Because she was like spitting some real stuff. But yeah, I'm sorry. I can keep talking about her.
Rhapsody is dope. Rhapsody is dope. Yeah, that's a good album. All right, the last question. What is the best advice you were given? What is it? Was it relationship advice? Was it?
I would have my husband. He always gives me like really, 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 really good advice about everything.
Yeah.
And I would have to say, telling me to be like. To be the best me. I know that is cliche too, but like when he says that to me, you know how you hear something over and over and over again, but then one time it actually clicks.
Yeah.
That he was telling me that because we were talking about me and poetry and everything, and he was talking about like the imprint that I want to make, you know, the footprints that I want to leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to be the best that you can be. So the only way you can do that is if you dive into yourself, indulge into yourself to figure out, you know, what are you doing? Who are you?
Yeah.
What, you know, so I'd have to say to be being the best person that I can be, and not just in poetry, but everything, with being a mom and a wife and friend, sister, and all of those things. So
that's dope though that it comes from your husband too. Like that's a whole nother thing. Like you done got me in my feelings. Like that is so sweet. Like when like your man tells you like, I want you to be the best that you can be. Like that's dope. Like I love that. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that too, because I've been listening to some episodes of the podcast. But so that was 5 questions, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're going to get into the topic of the show. But before we get into the topic of the show, I'm going to tell you guys how we even got to like this conversation about her being on my podcast. So I was slacking, let's just say it. I had said I was going to do a podcast forever. And I noticed that she had a podcast with her husband called Are You Done? And I'll make sure I'll add the link to this video. And I was like, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to see if she has some advice and just see, you know, like what she thinks. I was like, well, she could just be like, I ain't got time to respond to her, whatever. Like, I didn't know what your response was going to be. And I want to say that how you responded really, really gave me and encouraged me to continue to do a podcast, because you were just like, yeah, girl, use Anchor. Yeah, it's really good. It helps. And then you were like, and then I was like, you know, I got a whole broadcasting degree that I'm not using. You was like,
when you said that,
right? He was like, really, really. So, but I just really appreciate you like saying, hey, you know, and once you get your podcast up and going, let me know and I'll check you out. Yeah. So I really appreciate that. That's, you know, that the support is there. And some people might not have responded like that. Let's keep it all the way 100. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you meet people, you meet other women, you know, within the community, and you be like, hey, I want to try to do, and you don't get that same. Look, she's making that face because you agree. You agree, right. Right.
And it's like we're all on the same journey.
Exactly.
You know, this is Louisville. We all can sustain here. Mm-hmm. There's lanes for everybody.
Yeah. So I just want to say I appreciate that, and that is how we got to this conversation, because I knew that once I got my podcast going, I was gonna have to have her on the show. Because
and here's the messy thing, I've already learned more just from being in here in this room with you for like less than 5 minutes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So now we can exchange information. I'd be like, hey, do this.
Yes.
I'll give you tips. But yeah, I just want to say I appreciate that, and just let our viewers know like kind of how we got to this conversation. But I will let Miss Rheonna Nicole officially introduce herself to the podcast.
My name is Rheonna Nicole. I am a spoken word poet. I am the creator of Lipstick Wars Poetry Slam. I also, like she said, have a podcast with my husband called Are You Done? And I feel like there's
a mother.
Else. Yeah, and I'm a mom, which I love being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hold a lot of hats. You have a lot, you know, a creator, a writer, entrepreneur.
I forgot.
Entrepreneur, lipstick popping.
Yes, and I'm wearing it today. So
see, I need to get some, so I can plug that. But okay, so let's take it back. To before any of this amazingness has happened. Like how did you get started? Like how did you start?
Well, I started like a lot of people. I started writing when I was younger, like 8, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been into the arts, whether it was drawing, painting, writing, art, just my entire life. Like I've never, Mom, I want to be a ballerina, and then the next day I want to be some. No, it's always been art in some form or fashion. And but the older I got, the older I became, I moved away from it, went to school, started, wasn't focusing on my craft, went to college for commercial art, kind of blew that away. And, I found myself just working a regular job, and I wasn't into my craft, but I ended up leaving that job. Well, actually, I got fired from that job, and when you lost, when it feels like you've lost everything, you tend to focus on something else. So I was like, you know what? I remember praying and I was crying. I was like, God, you know what? I'm just gonna write and I'm gonna focus on other things and until something else changes. And I started writing poems. And I started. I remember it was at my church, and they had like a little talent show. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to say my poem. And then when I did it, everybody was blown away. And I'm like, what? So it went from that to, I want you to come to this place and I want you to perform. I want you to perform here. And I'm like, what is going on? And it just kept happening and it kept happening. And then one day I went to a slam, and Lance, shout out to Mr. Spread Love, he was hosting it. And I reached out to him. I was like, man, I like this. Like, I can do this. Because I'm already competitive. Yeah. And he said, yeah, Ree, you should think about it because, we need more women out here doing this. And I started doing that, and I started winning. Yeah. And I just kept doing it, and I kept doing it. And then I started performing out of town, and which led me to performing professionally, not professionally, but nationally in New York. And I was ranked like the 6th woman in the world.
Wow.
And like, it was just a lot of stuff, just this big snowball effect. And it was just going so fast. And after a while, I kind of decided, Louisville needs something like this. We need some type of presence. So I worked with the Kentucky Center for the Arts and helping me create, laying the foundation down for Lipstick Wars. And man, I feel like I said so much.
Yeah. So let's take it back. Like clearly,
I'm just talking.
Right? No. This is good stuff. So like you were talking about when you first went to a slam, like that is like clearly how you knew like that's your gift and that's your lane, because the idea of doing a slam, like I like it's like it's a whole nother world. Like I'll be so nervous, like just the whole process of being in a slam, like so nervous. So like the fact that you were like, I want to do that, like it really shows that like that was your space.
Yeah, I mean, I was still nervous, but I think just seeing what they were talking about and different topics. And, you know, I'm like, well, this is how I feel and this is what I'm going through. And I felt like, you know, my poems matter. There's people out here that relate to my poems. And I just felt like this is a platform, and I just kept doing it.
Yeah. So like the concept for like, how'd you come up with the concept for Lipstick Wars?
When, like I said, when I was in Brooklyn, it was an all women's poetry slam anyway. And I was like, you know what, Louisville really needs something like this. I feel like there's women out there that have something to say. They just don't know that these platforms are here. And I would go to slams, and a lot of times I would be outnumbered by men. Like there may be one other woman in the slam, but that's it. And I'm like, no, I don't like that.
So then you was like, I gotta come hard.
I gotta, and it just made me go harder. And I felt like I wanted to create this, but I want to do it for women and young girls. And I felt like if there's a young girl who's 14, 15 years old who, if she would have had the chance to voice how she felt, maybe she wouldn't be this bitter Black woman at 30 years old. You know, so that made me want to, like, I need to create this, and I need to find somebody who's going to help me do it. And I'm going to who I know who's got money to do this. And
do you find that like once you kind of had the concept that you were you were able to really get people to come to the table to help, or was that like difficult for you in this city?
Because I went to my community first. I tried to ask people who I thought made an impact in the community that would be willing to help me. It was kind of, I like the idea, but
there's really nothing I can do.
And it wasn't even so much of financially helping me, just maybe donating a space for me to do it, or just something like that. And but I just kept getting no's, and I'm the kind of type of person, you keep telling me no, I'm not gonna stop until I get a yes. So I'm like, you know what, clearly being in this part is just not gonna help. I need to go straight to, I'm going straight to the top.
That's the whole word right there.
And I felt like, people, it's kind of like, well, I'm struggling too to pull off my event. I can't help you, know, and I'm like, let me go up here. So I went there, and my friend Maxwell had introduced me to the director of Arts Reach, and she liked everything that I was saying, and she said, let's do it. I will help you fulfill this. And we've been partners doing this for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So,
And it has taken off. I mean, I've been to at least two. Two that I've attended, and they've all been phenomenal.
Thank you.
And they're continuing to grow. So can you talk a little bit about, like, you just recently, did you do one in Lexington, or
I did.
You did one in Lexington. So talk about like the vision for it at this point, now that you're 5 years in.
Well, my whole thing, I want this to keep growing, and I want it to go to not just, Louisville or Kentucky. Like, I want it to spread. I want it to go around the country. I want to be able to do workshops and to teach other young writers or writers in general, how to perform, how to take a poem and make it, a spoken word piece, if that's what you choose to do. If you want to be a slam poet, or if you want to be a writer, what does that look like? How can I become that? I want to write a book. How do I write a book? How do I get access to these resources? How do I start my own event? How can I make it successful? Like, I want to teach people these things, because I feel like, especially in our community, we got tons of talent. People got ideas, and they don't know how to get the ideas off the ground.
That's facts.
And it's like, I'm learning this, and I want to teach other people how to do it, because there's room for everybody to do something if they want to fulfill it. So that is my goal. Like, I want to be able to have an event space. I mean, my friend was talking about this the other day. I want to have an event space where you can come there, do your event, or if you want to learn how to do something within writing. So And of course, also, I want to push this lipstick too.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have this brand. I want to be a poet with the brand, cosmetic line of lipstick. So I got a lot of little things that I want to do, and I'm still learning how to do all of this. So.
Yeah, I definitely see like it, it taking off, and just in terms of like how the community has embraced that. It's very interesting, the dynamic, because like I'm not originally from Louisville, so I still find myself at times feeling like I'm kind of still an outsider, I guess you could say. So it's like, it's like really understanding like where, who to connect with and the support, that kind of thing. And sometimes you find support in places that you wouldn't expect it. Yeah. And I feel like that was definitely the case with you. Okay, so we got the lipstick wars. We got the lipstick brand. Now let's talk about how we got to this podcast, because I've listened to 3 or 4 episodes, right? I listened to the first episode. You and Nipsey just like, y'all are hilarious. Y'all are hilarious. And like my favorite one was the settling one, like, because I was really feeling that one. How people just like settle. Yeah. But so how did you guys get to this concept where y'all was like, okay, let's do a podcast together?
Nipsey talks so much trash. It's not funny. Like he talks and he talks and he talks and he talks. And we have these conversations, like we pretend like we on talk shows, we be doing everything. And I was like, you know what? We should do a podcast. And he's like, oh, everybody's doing a podcast. I'm like, I know, but we should still do one. Like, I think it would be fun. Yeah. It's something we
can do together.
Yeah, like we could do this together. I'm like, Nipsey, you're good by yourself, but you're better with me. I'm telling you.
I promise every episode you say something like that. Like every episode you do. Like the first episode when you guys explained like how y'all met. Like I was like, I think I was at work and I had my headphones in and I was just laughing. And you were talking about how you worked at this place and you see him. And, like it was just, they are really transparent, and I really love that about you guys. I really love that you guys share your story. Like you always. Which was really funny is that you like emphasize like, yeah, I grew up in the church. Right, and he didn't. And I just need y'all to know that. Like, I think that's funny. But how you guys like really support each other. You laughing because, y'all did all that.
Like my family, they have texted me and come. I listened to the episode. What's going on? And I'm still trying to be reserved, and he's just like well, I'm saying whatever.
I'm saying, it's your truth. It's your truth. Look. It's your truth. But it's good stuff, though. I feel like just in a lot of relationships, particularly married couples, is that we don't really hear a lot of that transparency. We don't really hear like really what people are going through. And really how you guys see one another. So I think it's good. I think it's healthy.
Yeah, like
right?
It's definitely it's healthy with us, and that podcast has also helped us because I don't want to sit out here and give advice and not taking my own advice. But it does allow you to look inside of the relationship. It looks at you, because it's easy to be like, well, you don't listen to me. Yeah. But I could be over talking him and I don't give him a chance to speak, so it's like it really does help evaluate it. And I didn't even think it would hit like that when people have messaged me and like, what do you think? What do you advise? I'm like, what? I'm still learning too. But, it's been fun and I can't wait. We're going to talk about it some more when I get back home. So. All
right, cool. I mean, it's good. I had to check it out. I love you guys' dynamic. Like always going back and forth. It's good stuff. I really do think it's good stuff. Thank you. Definitely check out the podcast if you guys get a chance. Are You Done podcast is really good. In addition to that, you've got some other things coming up. We got this mixer.
Yes.
So you want to talk a little bit about the mixer?
So with our lovely town, Louisville, I just started noticing, like, man, it's more and more stuff popping up. But I don't know anybody. I'm following you, but I don't know anybody. Yeah. And I started following a couple of podcasts from like out of town or like Atlanta and some other cities. And I had noticed one podcast, they had like this huge networking event. and they were just, meeting, mingling and everything. And I'm like, why are we not doing that here? And somebody could have done it. I just don't know that. But I'm like, no, we need to do that. We need to meet everybody in our community. Maybe there's, some resources that somebody has. We can help each other grow. Yeah. And that's one of the main things why I wanted to do it. And yeah, we're going to talk and have like a little panel. But I just felt like this is going to be fun. Just something laid back, cool vibe, talk, mingle, get to know somebody that you don't know, or what's your podcast about? Ours is about this. And so it's going to be fun. It's November the 14th, 7 p.m. at Rita's Hookah Lounge on 7th Street. So
cool. I'm trying to meet people. Out. I'm trying to mingle. And I'm trying to be a guest on somebody else's show. Like I interview people all the time, so I'm trying to be interviewed on somebody else's show because I just want to talk. I just want to give my opinion, answer some questions, something. Okay. Something. Cool. So I'm trying to see when I go to this mixer, I'm trying to be on somebody's show. So let's
ideas.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we do want to do a panel and we want to have a good discussion.
Yeah.
So I think it might be dope to get you on there. Yeah.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll be excited to answer some questions.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's quickly talk about you mentioned before, like I have all these things brewing in my head of like questions to ask because that's just how my brain works. But you were just talking about having a space in the city to host events and to help people with like expressing themselves through writing and creativity. I was listening to a friend of mine sent me a podcast. I think it was like Oprah. It was actually this weekend. Shout out to him. Sent me a podcast, and he was talking on the podcast. They were talking about how important the use of like creativity is, and how unused creativity can have negative like consequences, I guess you could say, because it's like it's like you're holding in your creativity and you're not expressing yourself, and so that has like these negative consequences. Like if you have a job that you hate and you go to every day and then you have no other outlet to create. Look, she done breathed it. She done breathed it when I said job you go to every day. And so like unused and untapped creativity, really like stifles people. So what do you think about that? Because I know that you eventually probably just want to be full time. Like,
oh yeah, I will be.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of makes me think about my mom and women like her, these strong Black women who, had these dreams, but they put them aside because I have kids and I can't focus on this. I got to raise my kids. My mom in particular, she wanted to be a fashion designer. And when she got pregnant with me, she dropped everything, and, just worked at jobs that didn't appreciate her. And, it's like now she kind of, oh Lord, my hands are ashy. It's like now, she is always like, well, I want to be there with you. I want to help you. Or, I used to do stuff like that too. And it's like, you still can. Or, oh, well, nah, I don't do that no more. I used to. But it's like I'm watching this woman, who had these dreams, an extremely creative person, talented person, just, let it go because, well, I had these kids. And not to say, like she's this bad person or bad mom because she did this, but
she sacrificed.
She sacrificed that, her creativity, her dreams to raise her kids. And that's something that I definitely don't want to do. I appreciate my mom for doing that, but I want to be able to at least live and say, yeah, I did that. I wanted to be a poet, so I did it. Yeah. And I wanted to show my daughter that. So even with my job, I'm going full time being a poet by the end of the year. Okay. But even if for whatever reasons, if it did not work out, I know I can go back to corporate world. It's gonna be there. It's not leaving
at all.
So I just want to take those chances and do that. So it just makes me think about other people who have, people be sitting on mounds and mounds of talent.
Oh my
goodness.
And
just, I gotta work. I gotta do it. It's just like, something that Nipsey said, taking that chance on yourself, betting on yourself to pursue your creativity. I don't want to wake up one day 50 years old and just
Say, I wish I would have.
I wish I would have.
That's so true. Because then you think about like, what could the possibilities have been? Like, even when I was like writing my book, I was like, it took me forever to write that book, girl. I finally finished the book, and I was like, I took like a 4-year break, and I was like, I get to it. And I was like, now that I've wrote it, like I start to see people come back to me and say, hey, you know, this book really changed my life. It changed how I see life. It changes how I view my purpose, my calling, all that stuff. And I was like, see, you was playing, and what if you didn't write that book, you know? And like with the podcast. So I definitely feel you when you say like having people who have talent. Like I work with young people every day, like in high schools, and when I ask them what they want to do, they always give me a career choice that's gonna lead to like money. So they'll say like, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this or that. And then I say, so what is your passion? Right? I know that you want to do that. So what is your passion? Like, what do you really want to do? And they don't ever connect that like, I can make money with my passion. I can create a lane with my passion, especially kids of color. And so I explained to them, like, I'm like, hey, you can make a career that ain't even been created yet. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we're living in that world, in that time where you can do that.
Yeah. So I think that that's so important. And then we see, like you kind of talked about your mom, but we see a generation who have sacrificed, and we're grateful for those sacrifices. But they could have, you know, really have done so much more had they have really pursued their dream. And speaking of that, though, because now, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're an entrepreneur, you work, right? You write, you do all this stuff. So speaking to women, right, who are juggling all those things, because see, I'm not juggling that right now. It's like not married, no kids. So I have like two less of those things. But how do you speak to that? How do you speak to like being able to do that? Because Nipsey does a good job at saying go, like, you know, support.
He does.
But how do you balance all of that?
It's something that my mother says, actually, and it's something that she always gets on me about. But learning how to organize. You know, I am a beautiful, dysfunctional, unorganized mess. But it's something that she always tells me, like, you need to learn how to organize. And I'm like, oh, you're nagging. Yeah. But it's like, no, you have to learn how to make that time to work and to focus on your career and your goals, your child during the middle of the day, and then at the nightcap to be with my husband, and whether we watch a movie or get something to eat or whatever. That it's that balance, you know, doing that, or even if you like if you designate certain things on certain days. On, you know, Friday we're gonna go out tonight. Tuesday or Wednesday, I take Harlem to the park or whatever. I think that's something that I'm still in transition of doing, is learning how to do that, and also making time for myself. Because it's one thing to be all of those things, but I still got to make time for me, because I can't, you know, can't afford to be, you know, to so lose my sanity. And I know there's women that are like, girl, I ain't got time for that, but you got to make time for that, you know, because what if you, and it's something that we've heard before, you know, especially since everybody's like a philosopher on Facebook. If you are not together, if your health more than anything, if your mental isn't together, what good are you for anybody else? So I'm learning to make time for me, and to also to make this time for my kids, and for my husband, and for my career, and for this job, which I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my job, but you know, and
also, there's so much stuff. There is, I think not lately, but I think it's always been kind of a passion of yours, is to like reaffirm people loving themselves. Right? And loving who they are, and loving your body type, and embracing your skin color, and embracing your hair, like all these things, but like loving yourself. So can you speak to that a little bit?
My poetry, and it speaks a lot in my poetry, because my poetry is very like aggressive, and you know, it's in your face type poetry, and you know, clearly I'm not a small girl. So I grew up hearing certain things, you know, you can't do that because you're a big girl. Big girls can't do stuff like that. Or, you're so cute for a big girl. You'd hear these things worst. Over and over and over and over again. And
or dark skin girl too.
Yeah. Or big girls need love too. And just hearing this stuff. And I finally got to a certain age in my life, and this is recently, that I was like, why do I care so much what other people have to think about me? Like, I go to sleep with me. I wake up with me. I have to embrace my flaws. I have to look at my belly. I have to look at my stretch marks. All of these things. Why am I not loving myself? And I think it's something that's very important to teach women to embrace yourself. And I think we're getting at a space where we're doing that, but we still need that affirmation every day, because it's just as much as that's happening. I still feel like you got your Meg Thee Stallions, your Cardi B's and all this stuff. Yeah. And our girls are still seeing it, and it's still coming at them like, okay, this is what I have to look like.
That comparison is deadly.
And we got one Lizzo. Out of all these other girls, we got one Lizzo. So it's like, I feel like it's so important to do that. And shout out to Farron, whose podcast I was on, Love Thy Belly. She does a wonderful job of constantly affirming that. And I just feel like if I'm going to use this platform to do that, that's one thing I want to keep pushing, that narrative of loving yourself and not so much as just loving yourself, but believing it. You can tell people all day, you gotta love yourself. How? I don't teach me.
Yeah.
So that's something that I enjoy speaking on and doing.
And I think also, like what you said, excuse me, love yourself, but believe it. I feel like when people truly believe it comes out.
Yes.
It comes out in the work that they do. It comes out in the relationships.
Yeah.
It comes out in so many ways. I think it's like a holistic health thing. Like, I'm healthy in every possible way. So I think that's a really, really great message. Really great message to promote. So, well.
And they're having a daughter too.
Yeah.
Because before I know it, she's going to be 5 or 10 or whatever. And I want her to walk in that, that I'm proud with the body that I have, and if she don't like it, you alter it, do something else. But to walk in that.
Yeah, that's important. So, it's so important, because I think that, our young people these days are like, social media is just what they have.
Man.
Instagram generation, where they just scroll on photos all day long.
All day.
Photos that have been touched and filtered and changed.
Like, them people ain't even those people.
No.
They're not.
Like, you see them before and afters, you be like, wow. Wow.
And you can't compare yourself to as much as I love her, you can't compare yourself to no Beyonce.
No.
She's got a trainer in the closet, waiting.
Yeah, like she got a whole team.
Man.
A whole team. A whole chef. A whole everything. So shout out to Beyonce though.
We love you.
But yeah, I just think that it's so important. It's such a great message. Because comparison, it really does. Like, I was talking to somebody, I don't know, maybe some girlfriends or something, and they was like talking about how you could be cool, and then you could get on Instagram and Facebook, and then you be in your feelings, and you be like, why do I have an attitude right now? Like, nothing has changed. I just looked on Instagram, seen old girl was engaged, and now I'm in my feelings. So, those type of things. Or I just looked on Instagram and seen that they going on a vacation. How they can go on a vacation, and then you internalize that. And then you're like, why am I snapping?
We y'all talked about that already? Dropped it yet, but we recorded it last week.
See?
We were talking about hate likes.
Yeah. And be lurking too. They be like, oh, what's she doing? They be lurking, looking on your page.
Like, I know she worked the same place as I work. How is she going on that? Like, she only,
Yeah.
She only made $16. That don't even add up.
Yeah. She probably in that. And it's true. It's
she might need a payment plan. Because I know my cousin had did one too, and she like,
why do we even need why do we even care?
Figuring the whole thing out.
It's not our life. It's not our credit. So yeah, we do it. Like, I had to just be honest and be like, I do. I look at that stuff, and then I'm like, man, why do I have an attitude? Why am I in a mood? So I gotta sometimes I gotta check out of that stuff and realize it, this is your lane. This is who God created you to be. This is who who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. And you find that. Like, a girlfriend of mine was giving me a pep talk one day. We always give each other pep talks. And she was like, you know, everybody, she described it as like a roadmap. And she was like, everybody is on the journey, their own journey. Right. And you may get there a different way than I may get there. Right. But it doesn't mean that your journey is better than my journey.
Right.
So I found that to be like so profound. I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right.
That's truth.
Yeah.
That is scripture.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Because, you know, there are things that I had to go through with being sick, diagnosed with lupus. And I'm like, that was 2-3 years of my life that, like, I was sick, like, fighting, you know, to gain my life back. And I'm like, why did I have to go through that? But now that I see, you know, I'm really beginning to, like, it's really restoring that time that I lost by really sharing my story and sharing my message and really touching people. So I think it's necessary sometimes for you to go through the things that you go through.
Ooh,
It's a whole word. It's a whole word. Yeah, it's very necessary. And it made me like really relentless in like my pursuit to really do some powerful things in the city. Yeah, it just made me just like fearless in a way. Right?
wow.
So I want to be on the panel. Right, I want to be on the panel.
Well, all right.
And definitely I figured, you know, like I think that this kind of gives me space to really, you know, talk to people. And I really love hearing people's stories. I really love like just kind of asking them where they get their motivation from and where they get their inspiration from. I love all that. So I'll be able to do this full time one day.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So keep me in mind for anything, you know, that you need. But I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
Sharing your story, sharing
Thank you.
your life with my viewers, taking the time. At the end of every episode, I ask all of our guests one question.
Okay.
And the question comes from my book, When You Know There's More. So I ask you, at what point in your life did you know that there was more? When did you know that, like, I got to get it? Like,
15, 16. Like, I've always been a determined person. Like, I've never, this is how I know, like, God put certain things in me.
Yeah.
Because I, you know, just looking at my parents and my family and my surroundings, I've always been determined. Never not been. You not gonna tell me what I'm not getting. If you, I've never not anything that I've always wanted. I've gotten it.
Yeah.
You know, in some form of capacity, I've gotten it. Because I just believe it, and I can get it. Like, why can't I get this? And it's funny, the older I've gotten, I kind of gotten away from that because stress in the world brings you down. But I'm starting to walk back into that path now. Because, like, even when it comes to material things, it's material. Like, why can't I get it? It's, you know. But ever since I've been 16, just a young kid, I've always known that, you know, I'm going to do something greater and it's bigger than me. And people have always told me that. And it's not so much that it has to be on this huge platform or famous or whatever. It's just what I'm going to do is going to impact people. And I'll never forget, I just had like this, I guess maybe a vision or just a dream or something that I was going to be talking to a lot of people. I was going to be on the stage and I was just going to be talking to people.
Yeah.
And like, I felt like it's happened and it's happening.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to work with girls. I knew that I wanted to work with women. And especially like when I had lost my job, when people say, when you get down to like ground zero, when you at the bottom is when, you know, you can rise up to something greater. And I felt like when I was at the worst time in my life, I still was able to see that dream and I kept it and I was going to reach it somehow. And I've been able to do that. So Yeah.
You had that faith that like you could envision it, but you like knew that was going to happen.
And Nipsey always says, it's like, man, you're just like some child, like just a naive child. It's like, God's got me.
Like you believe. He has, right? And I'm sure that like Nipsey is probably thinking like, this This woman is just like.
But he's
now
he's
he
worse.
sees.
He's even the same. He's the same
Oh,
way.
so he has like these grand visions.
Yes. Whoa, he's the same.
So you can imagine what your daughter is gonna envision, right? Because it passes down. So like all of that creativity, all of those grand ideas, she gonna come in the house and be like, "Mom, I think I should start my own business." Like she gonna, yeah.
I was looking at it the other day, thinking like, what can we do with her?
Mm-hmm.
What can she invent?
Let her figure it out her own lane. Like there's so many things that she can do. I just did the natural hair event, and there were some younger girls who were selling soaps and natural products and making bracelets.
A girl that I went to high school with, I think her daughter makes soaps. It's like something Wonderland.
Bath Wonderland. Yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
They were there. Shout out to Bath Wonderland. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great little salesperson. she was so dope. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I love you so much.
I'll take one of everything.
Yeah, she's great. So yeah, like you just never know how she'll grow and the things that she'll become. It's just exposing her to all these great things that y'all doing. So thank you for sharing your story. Quickly tell people how they can connect with you. They want to connect with you. They want to book her,
You can reach me, Rheonna Nicole at gmail.com, or you can find me, Rheonna Nicole, on Facebook and Instagram. If you look at Lipstick Wars Poetry, you can find that on Instagram, Facebook. Are You Done Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. But just if you don't remember nothing else, just start with Rheonna Nicole. Yes. Or Lipstick Wars. Either one of those, you'll find me. Okay. And if you want me, and if you want to book me. Mm-hmm. You get me up too. So.
Yeah, we'll put the link below, so that means that you guys can look below this video and connect to her so that you can book her so that she can go full time.
Yes.
So she can do all these amazing things that I know that God has called her to do.
And check out the website too, Lipstick Wars Poetry.
Cool. Because there's always something coming up, right?
Yeah,
always.
And you can check out the past winners and a bunch of pictures and how it got started and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. So thank you guys for checking us out. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. And until we see you again next time, be blessed.